Ice hockey in the land of sunshine and movie stars? It sounds like a tough sell, right? But the story of the Los Angeles Kings is a real-life Hollywood drama, filled with unbelievable highs, absolutely crushing lows, and a plot twist that literally changed the game forever. So let's dive in and see how this unlikely team carved out its kingdom.
So, how did they pull it off? How did a team from a, let's face it, non-traditional hockey market not only survive but actually thrive, winning 2 Stanley Cups and capturing the heart of a city? Well, it's a story of vision, superstars, heartbreak, and in the end, redemption.
You really can't tell the story of the LA Kings without talking about this man, Wayne Gretzky. His arrival was nothing short of a seismic shift for the sport. But to truly understand the impact he had, we gotta go back all the way to the beginning, when the Kings had to build their kingdom from scratch.
All right, so our story kicks off with the NHL's first big gamble on the West Coast. We're talking the late 1960s, and the league is expanding, bringing the game to some new, sunnier climates.
It all started back in 1966. An entrepreneur named Jack Kent Cooke paid what was then a hefty $2 million for an expansion team in LA. He called them the Kings and decked them out in this regal forum blue and gold. For years, they were building an identity, which really started to take shape in '75 when they got superstar Marcel Dionne. That offensive firepower eventually led to one of the most unbelievable moments in playoff history, the miracle on Manchester in 1982.
And this was their castle, the fabulous Forum, an absolutely iconic venue. Cooke actually built it himself because he got frustrated with the local commission. For 32 years, this building was the heart of LA hockey.
On the ice, the identity of those early Kings was forged by this legendary trio, the Triple Crown line. And man, were they electric. You had Marcel Dionne, just a dazzling goal scorer. Then Gabe Taylor, the tough two-way playmaker. And Charlie Simmer, the classic power forward who lived in front of the net. Their skill sets together just made them one of the most dominant lines of their time.
And this one game perfectly captures that early team spirit. It's the 1982 playoffs, and they're facing a young Edmonton Oilers dynasty led by a young Wayne Gretzky. They're down 5-0 going into the third period. Game over, right? Except it wasn't. The Kings stormed back to win in overtime. It was this incredible moment of resilience and really a taste of the dramatic rivalry with Edmonton that would define their future.
But nothing, and I mean nothing, could prepare the hockey world for what happened on August 9, 1988. The Kings made a trade that sent shockwaves not just through the league, but across an entire country. The Gretzky Revolution was here.
And the franchise signaled this huge shift with a total visual makeover. They ditched the foreign blue and gold and brought in this intimidating silver and black, a look that quickly became iconic and just screamed LA sports.
The trade. That's all you have to say. It is still one of the most stunning moments in sports history. The Kings got Wayne Gretzky, the greatest player in the world, from the Edmonton Oilers. And just like that, hockey became the hottest ticket in Hollywood. Its popularity just exploded all across the Sun Belt.
And right there, in that silver and black jersey, Gretzky made history in LA. On March 23, 1994, he scored his 802nd career goal, passing the legendary Gordie Howe to become the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer. Think about that. The sport's biggest record was broken in Hollywood. It completely cemented LA's place on the hockey map.
With Gretzky, the Kings became a legitimate contender. They made it to their first ever Stanley Cup final in 1993, and it really felt like victory was within their grasp. But then, the Hollywood story took a really tragic turn.
The moment that haunts Kings fans to this day. It all came down to a piece of wood.
So here's the scene. It's late in Game 2, the Kings have the lead, and they're about to go up 2-0 in the series. The Canadians make this desperate call, asking the ref to measure Marty McSorley's stick, and the curve was illegal. It was this tiny infraction with massive consequences. Montreal tied the game on the power play, they won in overtime, and they completely snatched all the momentum in the series. The Kings never recovered. It was just a devastating way to lose.
And the heartbreak didn't stop there. Off the ice, owner Bruce McNall, the guy who orchestrated the whole Gretzky era, was facing financial ruin. The team was actually forced into bankruptcy in 1995, and just a year later, Gretzky was traded. The whole kingdom had crumbled.
But from the ashes of bankruptcy and heartbreak, a new plan started to emerge. After years of being lost in the wilderness, the franchise began this long, patient rebuild, planting the seeds for what would be an unlikely road to redemption.
The comeback was built the right way, through the draft. Smart picks brought in a whole new core of stars, players like Anze Kopitar, Doughty, Dustin Brown, and their goalie, Jonathan Quick. A new foundation was being laid brick by brick.
The path to the cup was methodical. They got that young core in place, then they brought in a no-nonsense coach, Daryl Sutter, to instill discipline. And the effect was immediate. As the lowest-seeded team in the 2012 playoffs, nobody gave them a chance, but they just caught fire, going on one of the most dominant postseason runs in NHL history to win their very first Stanley Cup.
And here it is, the moment. After 45 long years of waiting, Captain Dustin Brown finally lifts the Stanley Cup. The promise of the Gretzky era was finally fulfilled. Los Angeles was, officially, a hockey town.
And they weren't done. They followed it up with another incredible, grueling playoff run in 2014 to win a second Stanley Cup, proving that the first one was no fluke. This was a new dynasty in the NHL.
2 championships in just 3 years. The LA Kings, once this unlikely Sun Belt experiment, were now sitting on top of the entire hockey world.
But as every dynasty learns, staying on top is the hardest part. That championship core has gotten older, and the Kings now find themselves in a new and deeply challenging chapter.
Their recent struggles are defined by this frustrating pattern of déjà vu. For 4 seasons in a row, their playoff journey has ended at the hands of their old rival, the Edmonton Oilers. It's a wall they've yet to break through, a modern chapter in a rivalry that dates all the way back to the Gretzky era.
Which brings us to today. The Kings have a rich, dramatic history unlike any other. They've been built, they've been broken, and they've been reborn. So the question now is, what does the next act of this Hollywood script hold? What will it take for them to once again be crowned champions?